Sticking with the Mideast, we are now getting new video. This is just fed into us. President Trump's son-in-law, his senior advisor on foreign affairs, Jared Kushner, making a surprise trip to Iraq on the invitation from the chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff. There he is, General Joe Dunford. General Dunford saying in a statement, quote, Mr. Kushner is traveling on behalf of the president to express the president's support and commitment to the government of Iraq and U.S. personnel who are currently engaged in the campaign. Melissa.
Fox News military analyst and retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General Thomas McInerney joins you now. Let's start with Jared Kushner in Iraq. There's been a lot of criticism today about what does he know about this, why send him, who is he to go on this trip, does he have any foreign policy experience? What do you think about it?
I think it's all balderdash. Melissa, look, it was a great move. He's at the personal invitation of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who has gotten to know him from the National Security Council, and he's bringing him over, showing what's going on in the theater. Now, the president has got Mr. Kushner working on the Israeli issue. And when you start seeing Iraq and the different countries around Israel, you start to get and understand the challenges that Israel has in that region. I think it was marvelous. He's going to get to know the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff very well. That'll bode well, I think, for the Pentagon and for the president.
What do you think the reaction is of the troops there? Because they said they were doing it to show support, that the president is committed to them and thinking about them. The detractors say then the president should go himself, or, he should send military personnel from his administration as opposed to his son-in-law. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's, again, balderdash. What are they talking about? The fact is he is the president's son-in-law. Those troops understand that. They are delighted because they like President Trump. He cares about them. His predecessor didn't, and they knew that despite what the trappings that they tried to make. There's no question that those troops over there knows that President Trump cares about them. They've got a superb Secretary of Defense doing that job, and so they're very satisfied that he is over there.
Let me move you on to the issue of China, because, of course, that's the big meeting that's coming up this Thursday, when the Chinese president will come down and will be at Mar-a-Lago on Thursday. Donald Trump said, well, if China is not going to solve North Korea, we will. If they do, and if they help us, that will be very good for China. If they don't, it won't be good for anyone. What do you make of this meeting and that statement?
Well, I think it's showing skepticism by President Trump. I do not believe China is going to help us with North Korea. That's after having so many years out in the Pacific and facing both China and North Korea. And then you see what the Chinese have done with the islands in the South China Sea. You see what they've been doing. And they want North Korea to keep us on edge. So we're going to have to do it ourselves. Melissa, what we ought to do, and clearly send a signal to both China and North Korea, is we're going to form a Pacific Area Treaty Organization, PATO, on the model of NATO. And we're going to have South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Thailand, New Zealand, Australia, and other nations out there that will join us in this pact. And we've got to counter this rising hegemon, China, in the region. Yeah. They're not going to help us.
Okay. General, thank you. Appreciate your time and your insight today.